Has anyone done what this guy's done?
He's a superstar.
88 appearances for Barcelona.
88 appearances for Barcelona
and he's 17.
already.
I mean, it's
and
like, that is ridiculous.
And he's scoring unbelievable goals.
But Messi weren't doing this.
What does it mean to wear the shirt of gods? To take the number 10 before your 18th birthday and hear a stadium whisper, "He's the one." What does it cost a boy to become a symbol when records fall like leaves and fame arrives like a flood? Tonight, we step into the world of Lamine Yamal. The records, the roar, and the storm that followed his 18th birthday. Because greatness isn't just about how high you rise, but what you carry when the lights go out. He was born in Esplugas de Llobregat, Spain, roots stretching from Morocco to Equatorial Guinea, branches growing out of the working-class neighborhood of Rocafonda in Mataro. The 304 he flashes with his hands isn't a trend. It's a telephone wire back to home, a promise stitched into every sprint. Family, faith, and football. Spoken in Spanish, in Arabic, in the universal dialect of nutmegs and touch and go. He stepped into La Masia as a little kid with big eyes, the future already tugging at his sleeve. He idolized joy as much as trophies. Ronaldinho's smile, Messi's geometry, Neymar's electricity. Street ball instincts wrapped in academy discipline. A kid who learned to solve pressure not by running from it, but by shaping it. Letting the ball do the talking. In Rocafonda, the streets sharpened decisions. At La Masia, the details refined them. That's the question that raised him. Asphalt plus angles equals advantage. Coaches remember the first touch before the frame filled out. The vision before the vocabulary could explain it. He wasn't just quick, he was right making the pass that turns a defense into a rumor. At 15, he moves like a question mark at the Camp Nou, and the stadium's answer is silence. Watching. Measuring. Then the records begin to buckle. Youngest this, youngest that, youngest to appear for Barca in La Liga, youngest to assist, youngest to start at El Clasico, youngest to etch his name into Champions League nights. The superlatives trip over each other, trying to keep pace. And when the commentators catch their breath, he's already collecting another first.
Is simply amazing! The youngest player to ever play.
By 16, he has the minutes of a man and the gait of a kid sprinting home for dinner. By 17, he's not just participating in big games, he's deciding them, skating past defenders who learned the trade before he learned to shave. But some headlines weren't about football. The country notices. A debut at 16. A goal. Another record falling like a fruit that was ready anyway. Then, a major tournament where he doesn't just survive the stage, he arranges it.
The 16-year-old Lamine Yamal!
Goal teenagers. The medal around his neck clinks a little too loudly for his years. The cameras search for nerves and find none. Rivals praise him with that mixture of awe and gasp. The final's last surges, you could hear a nation exhale in unison. This wasn't hype. It was proof. Then, Barcelona does something that means more than a press release. The number 10 is handed over, not as decoration, but as declaration. At Barca, that number isn't ink. It's inheritance. Maradona wore it like thunder. Ronaldinho wore it like sunlight. Messi wore it like destiny. And now a teenager slips it on and goes to work. The club ties him down long term. The shirt sales explode. And somewhere in the noise, the kid remembers the street where he learned to faint and listen at the same time. He scores wearing the 10, lifts an eyebrow at a defender who guessed wrong, and an entire city nods. The story continues. But fame has a second soundtrack, and it doesn't play inside stadiums. Season over. The noise never really is. Vacation photos ripple across timelines. A trip to Brazil to see his idol, Neymar, draws the predictable side-eye. A guardian angel of dribbles with a devil's reputation for parties. Elsewhere, a jet ski picture becomes a moral referendum. Age gaps turned into hashtags, insinuations amplified by algorithms. He posts one caption, single and happy, and the internet keeps spinning. Every highlight, every photo, every whisper magnified by the weight of fame. Then the night that was supposed to be private. His 18th birthday. The plan looked airtight. Phones banned, guests vetted, travel and lodging covered. A theme chosen like a movie costume, tailored, playful, grown. But the world outside a party has a way of showing up uninvited. Leaks, clips, think pieces. Reports say performers with dwarfism were hired for entertainment. And suddenly a celebration turns into a debate about dignity, employment, and optics. An association condemns the practice. Spain's Ministry of Social Rights requests prosecutors examine whether a line was crossed. Headlines convert nuance into fuel, and the public square does what it does best: pronounces before listening. Then, a performer speaks, anonymous but firm, defending the work, defending colleagues, insisting no one was disrespected. Let us perform. We chose this. We were treated fairly. The club president publicly supports his player, reminding everyone that an 18-year-old celebrity lives under a lens that exaggerates everything. Mistakes, apologies, even silence. Supporters argue. Critics counter. The investigation hangs like a cloud that might pass and might storm. Was this a youthful miscalculation amplified by a spotlight, or something that demanded consequence? And between those headlines came a moment that made him look his age again. Spain crushed Turkey 6-0 in Konya. Yamal shines. Another performance that feels effortless, until you remember how rare effortlessness is at this level. The locker room laughs. The bus idles. The night is perfect. And then, a very human glitch enters the frame. Cameras catch him stepping off the bus, rifling through his bag, worry creasing the glow of victory. He can't find his passport. Where is it? Did it fall? Is it in the locker room? The clip goes viral. A prodigy taking care of paperwork like the rest of us. fame punctured by bureaucracy. Reports suggest he left the stadium still searching. Later, calm voices around Spain's camp say the situation was resolved. He'd travel with the team. A storm of goals and a paper cloud that nearly grounded it all. Greatness is measured in medals, but sometimes it's revealed in how you handle the little fires that flare when no one expects them. He looks like a kid in that moment, because he is one. There was another cut that summer, this time on an international stage. A final slipped away. Cameras found celebrations on the other side, found legends scoring at improbable ages, and the internet did its favourite thing, comparing a 40-year-old's moment to a 17-year-old's quiet night. That's the new math of modern football discourse. Grace measured not by context, but by captions. A clip circulates of him leaving early, frustration read as disrespect, heartbreak miscast as posture. It's the tax of being called the future. Every step is a statement. Every silence becomes a manifesto someone else writes for you. Perspective is easy in hindsight, and hard in the hour after defeat. If you are 17 and expected to be inevitable, what do you do when you aren't? You go again. He does. Back at the training next morning, he treats headlines like weather. Notice them, plan for them, but don't let them choose the route. Numbers on the pitch aren't the only numbers that tell this story. In 2024, he becomes one of the most searched people on Earth. Think about that. At 17, his name surges past names that have ruled the algorithm for a decade. Curiosity, awe, suspicion. Search bars don't discriminate. The internet doesn't care if it's a volley or a rumor. It counts both. For a young man raised on joy and geometry, this is the strangest defender of all. Attention that never blinks. So who is he when the volume drops? Ask the people beside him. They call him polite, grounded, family wired. Ask the coaches. They talk about focus, about a kid who returns from noise to the session as if the session is home. Ask the veterans, the one whose trophies rattle when they walk. They talk about composure, about how he absorbs advice the way he absorbs a ball on the touchline. Softly, with purpose. The plan isn't to build a star, it's to build a career. There's a moment that says more than any compilation. Late in a tense international, he takes a 1v1 he could attack, and doesn't. He holds it. He passes back. Then he raises a hand to his elders, to a nation glued to their screens, and signals calma. At 17, you can teach skills. You can drill patterns. It's harder to teach time. Some players learn it in their late 20s. Some never do. He's distributing it at 17 like he spent years in a control room. That's not arrogance. It's something rarer. Street instincts that made peace with structure. We go back to the birthday because you can't tell a rise without tracing the scars. The facts are simple and complicated at once. A private celebration, a leak, a public reaction, and a formal request for investigation by authorities. A performer defending the work, a club president voicing support. Between those poles lies the truth of modern celebrity. Privacy is provisional, and perception is a currency no one fully controls. Was it a lapse in judgment by a young adult surrounded by louder, older voices? Was it a mirror held up to us about the speed with which we judge, about the ease with which we strip complexity for clicks? Maybe it's all of that. Maybe being 18 in this sport means you learn publicly what most learn privately. And the cost of fame is that your lessons have view counts. Here is what endures when the noise fades. The ball drops out of the sky and sticks to his boot like it missed him. The pass that breaks 2 lines and a heart. The curl that kisses the far post and humbles physics. At club level, decisive numbers. At country level, medals that don't feel accidental. The number 10 isn't a costume anymore. It's a conversation between past and present that he's learning to lead. He'll be measured against deities. Messi, Ronaldo, names that bend air. That's unfair and inevitable. But the story of Lamine Yamal isn't a copycat saga. It's a new template, a multicultural, multilingual symbol of a changing Spain. A La Masia graduate who dribbles like a street poet. A teenager learning the lore of unintended headlines while refusing to dim the joy that made him irresistible in the first place. The controversies will be discussed and dissected. They should be. Responsibility grows with reach. But so will the football. Because that's where his biography keeps outpacing his age. Watch him when the first whistle sounds and the world goes simple again. Just grass, goals, and the clock. Watch how he moves without hurry and without fear. Watch how veterans begin to look for him in the pocket, the way you look for a friend in a crowded room. It's not hype. It's trust. He is not just the future of Barcelona. He is the story of how a boy became a signpost. Too young to be a man, too great to be ignored. Records will keep falling. Debates will rage. Parties will be planned more carefully. Paperwork will be double-checked. What matters is that when the whistle blows, he still plays like the kid from 304. Head up, heart open, daring the game to keep up with him. Because what Lamine Yamal is doing at 17 and 18 isn't normal. And maybe that's exactly the point. Goals, trophies, headlines, and sometimes lost passports. The Wonder Kid is still a teenager. The difference? His mistakes trend. His solutions do too. He found the document. He found his way back to work. And if football loves anything more than a prodigy, it's a prodigy who learns in public and keeps going.
Well, I can tell you that the winner this year is Lamine Yamal, Spain, Barcelona.
Inside the world of Lamine Yamal, fame is both amplifier and echo. It magnifies the brilliance and repeats the noise. But the ball doesn't care about discourse. It cares about touch, angles, courage. He has those, and he has time. The number 10 is an invitation as much as a burden. He's accepted it with a left foot that writes sentences defenders can't read. If he keeps choosing the work over the uproar, the next chapter won't be about records broken or parties debated. It will be about a career that turned inevitably into routine. And somewhere, in a room without cameras, a young man will fold his passport into his pocket and head for the bus. Another match. Another chance to turn the world back into a pitch.
Hace mi primera temporada y estoy muy orgulloso de todo. Obviamente no me voy a olvidar de la selección con la que he podido ganar la Eurocopa. Y a todo el staff, a los entrenadores, Hansi, que le tengo ahora, Luz de la Fuente y Xavi. Y muchas gracias a todos, buenas noches. Shukran.
Congratulations.